Hello everybody, how's it going? My name is Demeko and today we're going to be building this desert house here. It has a relatively simple design that can work for both survival playthroughs or creative projects. It's made of just sandstone and stripped birch log that gives it a very nice dry and aesthetic. So as I view this interior here very quickly, I just want to let you guys know that this is a very new YouTube channel and I really have no idea how to do anything that I'm doing. So if the quality seems pretty low, that's because it is. I apologize for this, but if you like my content, please just go ahead and subscribe and like the video, and hopefully I'll get better as time goes on. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started here. So I went ahead and laid out a quick framework here. And so this is going to be the front of the house. So we're going to start here. We're going to go 3 across, then 3 more to this one, then a 5 block difference here, another 5 block difference here, a 5 block distance here, 3 block distance here, and 3 block distance here, and 3 block distance here. Nothing really too complicated, but let's go ahead and start the actual build of the project. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the front here, go to this first wall, go 2 up, and I'm using smooth sandstone here. We're going to go up 3 and then 2 here. It's basically just creating a nice little window frame here. And around that we're going to build all of our frames. So we're going to go up 1 more, put a stripped birch log over that wall. And we're going to go ahead and do that for the rest of the exterior here. Nothing too complicated, just having to actually do it. And we're almost done here. The only real thing to note here is that there is a 1 block difference here where the little outcropping meets the rest of the house. But it's not too complicated, I'm sure y'all can figure it out. Okay, now that we have the whole downstairs frame done, we're going to go ahead and start filling in our walls here. So we're going to ignore this wall here for now because that's going to eventually be the front door. But most of the walls generally are of 2 designs. They either are going to be a window or they're going to be a blank wall. So for this little outcropping here, I generally like to go with 3 windows on the side, 3 different windows, just to have a lot of light come in, and it just makes everything fit very nice together. Now these walls right here, I generally like to put just a blank wall right here, and put a window on the one next to it. You don't need to put windows on every single wall, which is a mistake I see a lot of new builders do, and it kind of makes it harder to do an interior because you don't really have any solid walls to really go around. But again, I like to, when going around these kind of outcroppings here, like these 3 by 3 interior outcroppings here, I generally do like to put 3 windows. I just think it's very nice to have. But for example, on this one, I'm just going to make a very bare wall again. Now here, we're going to put a little bit of a back door. Here. And perfect. And we're going to go with another blank wall right here. Now this is what I consider the back of the house. It doesn't need to be as aesthetically pleasing, but it's the only one who's generally going to see it is you. So anyway, moving on, we're going to go to this 5 by 5 wall here. And we're going to leave room for 2 windows, and we're going to actually leave it 1 space bigger, or 1 space more downwards. Newbie mistakes. And that's just generally going to let you be able to view it, the outside much easier, and see more things outside. So let's go ahead and start with each of the windows. So the window designs kind of vary. The one general design I like to go is I like to put chains between these walls here, and then I like to put iron bars here, and it kind of gives a kind of a different window than I see in a lot of different builds. You know, not every window has to be glass panes or iron bars. I really like this aesthetic here for kind of smaller windows of just putting chains on the side. And once you do that, I'm just going to put some buttons here just to add a little bit of depth. Because that is the one big problem you have with these types of barren walls, is that depth can kind of hurt you when you're trying to make it look very nice. But anyway, we're going to do that for all of these walls on this side. I did it stupid. Beautiful. Like it never even happened. Okay, and one more. I like that you're a master. Okay. Next stage here, we're going to go to this window. Here. We're going to do the exact same thing. Boom and boom. And for these here, I'm not actually going to put a iron bar beam here. I'm just going to put some spruce slabs on top and the bottom and add some buttons. Beautiful. It makes it a little bit different. In fact, I might even remove these. You really want to have some variety in the way you do your walls, just because if you do everything the exact same way, it's going to kind of, the build's going to just kind of look bad in general. But anyway, over here, do the same thing for the millionth time. And just like that, you're an expert at the game. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to do this front little patio here. So what I like to do is I like to come out one block, put these sandstone stairs on the side here. And now we're going to do basically the exact same thing. Give us a little bit of a ramp to walk onto. Here. We're going to put some more smooth sandstone here. And now we're going to create a little door facade. And that just makes it right there. Beautiful. Now we're going to add our chains across to simulate windows. And just like that, you have a nice looking door. Okay, now we're going to start focusing on the roof here. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a spruce slab decoration along the entirety of the house here. And what this does is that it kind of just brings everything together, makes it all look nice. Because you're not going to have as you can see, there's a different story over there, and you don't really need this siding here. I just think it just kind of creates a difference between the bottom half of the house and the top half of the house. But if you remember, this part of the house right here, this first outstretch here, did not actually have a second floor, so we're just going to go ahead and cap this off here. And it's just a relatively simple roof design. Just basically going to go up one slab each time and create a kind of a nice little slope. Again, nothing too complicated, but it does look very nice in my opinion. Okay, now we're going to focus on the second story here. And we're again going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And go across here. So let's go ahead and finish our beaming here. I generally like, when I make any type of build, I generally like to start with my framing first. It gives me a good idea of how the entire shape is going to work. And especially when you do more complicated buildings, like things that have more organic curvatures, makes it much easier for maintaining the entire build itself. In fact, we're going to do something a little fancy here. We're actually not going to put framing on this part of the house here. We're actually make it a little deck, as you saw. But we can go ahead and finish these other frames here. Boom and boom. And just like that, you're starting to see the whole thing come together. So first thing we're going to do here is we're going to do this first window now. This window is very important because it's what the person sees when they walk up to the house, and I think it's just the most important part here is because you look at the door and then your eyes are kind of travel up there. And it's really important just to nail this part here. So what I generally like to do is I like to put in some sand right here. Grab some trapdoors. Put those down. And this is kind of like a desert version of the plants you see on houses oftentimes. But I kind of don't ever see this type of thing in desert houses. Desert houses are kind of those that one kind of build I think could have a lot of potential, but they're just not as focused on as I think other projects are. But again, just to get back to the build here, we're going to add the chains across the side, and then we're just going to put a small awning here. Next, we're going to go to this side here, and we're going to add 2 windows again. Except this time, we're not really going to focus on adding plants. I don't think it's as important here. Here, we're just going to put chains here. And then just another little awning here. And not doing anything too complicated. Just kind of filling it in. Now on this wall, again, it's the back of the house. I don't really like to have windows on all sides of my houses, as I also mentioned, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill that in. Now here I do like to have a window. And we're going to go back to the high-rise windows that we saw in previous iterations. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to fill in this small side here. Add our chains. Let's go to the outside here. And here we added the spruce and iron bars. I'm going to go ahead and avoid that here. I don't really think we need it. I think it looks fine that way, and it adds a little bit more variety in the build itself. But over there, I kind of did see I did put this here on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and actually do that just to... I don't want to fake promise anybody and get yelled at. Okay, next out here, it's going to go with another solid wall. And we're going to do another solid wall here. And finally, I'm going to do another kind of doorway here. Just fill it in. Now, of course, you can use any kind of a sandstone for this. I'm just using the smooth sandstone because I think it looks the best. In fact, we're going to eventually change that with a little bit of world edit just for time's sakes. And it'll make the whole build look a little bit nicer. I think the best look for the outside, though, is when you kind of vary the types of sandstone that you use. But we'll get into that in a little bit later. So now we're going to go into our house here. We're going to grab some spruce planks here, and we're going to go ahead and just fill in this flooring here. And that looks absolutely fantastic. Now let's go ahead and do this the upstairs. Now for the upstairs, I generally like to use slabs because you kind of get a little bit more depth underneath. In fact, I'm also going to continue these beams across here. This adds a lot to the build itself. In terms of, looking up and seeing a little bit more depth. Because the biggest problem I think that of making small houses look good in Minecraft is how well you do depth and how well you can add that depth to different builds, because it's very hard to do it on the small scale. Okay, now we're going to add our staircase that goes up here. That was not intentional. Go up here, and voila. Now we're going to come under here, finish our staircase, grab a fence here, I'll put fences here, Now we're going to get some bookshelves and finish out this space. Now we have a solid looking staircase. Now we're going to finish this last final bit of upstairs flooring, and now we get to move on. Now we're going to come out here to our outside space here, and we're going to go ahead and put in our little decking here. And that's looking pretty good. The next thing I want to do before we get anything too carried away is I want to go ahead and, wherever there's a beam going up here, I want to put just a wooden staircase just to kind of make it look like it's attached properly, and it kind of gives it a little bit more depth and a little bit more character as well. So we're going to do that on all these beams here, all the way across the house, and we're also going to do this on the second floor as well. And boom, we're starting to get an actual shape. Okay, start with these stairs, go all the way across, and voila. Now fill in the sides here. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to fill in this entire, we're just basically going to put another slab layer on top of the stripped birch wood itself. That's going to be our second step on our roof here. Now just continuing with the pattern, we're going to go ahead and fill the rest of this space in with some spruce planks. And that's looking pretty good in my opinion, though I am a biased source. Next thing we're going to do to go ahead and just kind of start finishing the exterior is we're going to go ahead and grab some lanterns here. And we're going to go ahead and put lanterns on all the corners of the house here. So we're going to put out a slab, a chain, and a lantern. And I think this is the part of the build that really just kind of brings everything together. It adds a bit of light. Right, and I think it really kind of fits into that Middle Eastern and that Middle Eastern theme. And I think it really just helps bring everything together along with a few other things. And it's good to note that we're going to do this for both the upstairs, or the second floor and the first floor. Here and add this here. Alright, boom, I like that. We have an exterior. And boom. So now we're going to go ahead and start talking about the interior. Now, I'm not the best person personally, oh, that's a riddle, on how to do interiors. But what I like to do first in this kind of space here is I like to add a carpet. And I like to use these white and orange color because I think it kind of fits with the desert theme. I'm going to put one there and one here where I'm just basically moving around the orange and the white colors. Next, I like to put some hay in the back here and kind of have this room act as a kind of like a storage area. Just kind of make it look like an actual house. And I forgot to mention that I that in order to light the interior, I like to put lanterns in the middle of the beams. Really do love these lantern designs that Mojang went ahead and put in the game. But in this little section here, I like to put basically a little bit of a kitchen. So we're going to put 2 barrels, a crafting workbench, and 2 furnaces here. Furthermore, I'm going to go ahead and take some birch slabs and add a little bit of a shelf right here. I'm going to add a normal chest, double chest up there. Kind of break the general look of the house. Here, let's go ahead and just put another crafting table in here, why not? Now obviously if you don't like the way I do my interiors, feel free to kind of change anything about this or anything about the build. I promise I won't get mad about it. So now, I like to put a little bit of a dining table here, put down 2 slabs, a fence, and we're going to grab these birch trapdoors. I really like these birch trapdoors because it looks like the white part's like the comfortable part of a seat. I think it looks nice. Now grab like a light gray or gray carpet. I messed up. Because I think they look the best as tabletops. And it is really not my day. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and travel upstairs. So here, I'm going to add another carpet. I grabbed some chests. Some slabs. Bed. I'm going to kind of keep with the orange and white design that I have going. Grab a couple pots. I'm gonna grab an oxy daisy, and let's go with a sapling. And I threw away my flower. Beautiful. So this wall here, let's go ahead and throw a nice painting on the side of it. Perfect. And I really do like having hay pretty much everywhere. No idea why, just how I roll. Another chest here. And I almost forgot about my beams. Let's go ahead and add some lanterns here. Just like that, you have a nice operating place. Okay. Most important thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add some doors here. We're going to add them from the inside because as we put this stair here, if you put them on the other side like this, you kind of see this kind of empty space right here, which I think looks really bad. So we're going to put them on the inside like that, and that kind of avoids that entire issue. Boom. And boom. Now we're going to go out here. I like to add a little bit of a chair right here. Give it a little bit of character, because it is the best viewing platform in the house. Oops. And boom. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is having this solid sandstone is nice, but I think it kind of takes away from everything. And I think we can do it a lot better by kind of varying that material. So if you look in this version of the house over here, you'll see that I have that material, regular sandstone, and sand. And we're going to go ahead and do the exact same thing here. Now you can do it by hand, but just for the sakes of time and the video, I'm going to go ahead and do it with World Edit. Here. So what the command is they're going to basically going to do / replace smooth sandstone. Careful not to select smooth red sandstone. I do that 100 times. You do sandstone, smooth sandstone again, and sand. And there you go. Now you have a little bit more of a varied look, and it makes everything look a little bit more unique and not so monotone in the design. Now the final thing that I like to do here is I like to take a sandstone wall and give this house a little bit of a path. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a couple of walls here in the kind of the general direction that we want the player to go. Next thing I like to do is I just kind of like to delete random blocks and fill that in with whatever road I like to do. I usually do andesite gravel, just kind of give it a little bit more distinction from the general sand that's all around it. I'll add a little bit of this sandstone as well. Final thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add some torches here. And just like that, you have the coolest desert house that you could possibly ever build. There's nothing that can be ever cooler than this. I'm going to go ahead and set the time to night, because I think that's when it looks the best. Here, you kind of see it glowing. I have shaders, of course, but even in regular vanilla, it looks fantastic. Well, so anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please, if you liked the video, go ahead and comment and subscribe. And if you thought something was really off about the way I'm doing my videos, please just comment that as well. I promise I'll read all the comments and improve as I go along in this process. As I've said, this is my first video, so... Anyway, I hope everyone has a good night, and thank you very much for tuning in.